Hi, I wanted to make this video for your children because whether your children at St. Anselm School or St. Anselm PSR program, you know, I said that in the last video I made, I miss you. And that is very much true with the children of the parish because the school is just so quiet. You could see I'm in an empty classroom right now. It's not the same as when all of you folks are here. We just love the activity of having you here. On the other hand, I imagine that for most of you, having a big break from school was like a dream. It would have been for me when I was a kid. I realize that was 100 years ago when I was a kid. But back then, we dreamt of a big time off, and that was usually the summer, because we could be with our friends and we could play and do whatever we wanted. We played sports most of the summer. It was like all day long we played sports. Or then we got on these kicks where we wanted to build something. It was either a tree fort or some other kind of fort. We scrounged lumber from anyone who would give it to us, and we built something. And it was fun doing that. I realize it's a little different this time for you because you're not together with all your friends. You're mostly at home with your brothers and sisters. And sometimes you can get on each other's nerves and that sort of thing. I realize that. But you know, there are a lot of things you can do at home that are fun to do. I know when I was a kid, you know, we did things like playing board games. We loved Monopoly. We loved Clue. I still think Colonel Mustard in the library with the candlestick is the answer. I'd still submit that as the answer most of the time. But we did different things like that and had fun with it. Sometimes we even co-opted our parents into different games that we were playing. Sometimes they would, my dad was the catcher sometimes on both baseball teams. He caught for both of us. If we each team had our catcher, then he would umpire. But we pulled him into a number of different things, and I think sometimes to pull your parents into a game is a good thing indeed, if they have the time, and sometimes they might. I just wanted to give you some helpful advice or some things from an old man that I think might be helpful. First, I would invite you to keep up with your schoolwork. I know it's easy to put it off when you don't have a deadline, you know you're not going to have a test tomorrow, and that sort of thing. It's easy to put it off. I'm also thankful to the teachers who put that work together for you, and so that you can keep learning. It is important that you keep learning and not just kind of waste the time. So keep doing what you can do there. The second thing I would encourage you to think about is being creative. You know, you can kind of sit around and say, well, there's nothing to do. But usually, you know, if you can find a ball, you can either throw it, you can kick it, or you can bat it. You can always do something with it. And I'd encourage you with your brothers and sisters to just make up your own games. They can be fun. You can play hide and go seek. You can do things like that. You can do things that each age group can do. So I would encourage you to just be as creative as you can. Invent little things that you can do and have fun with. The third thing I encourage you, and I think the governor has said this too, is to get fresh air. Go outside, run, play, do stuff. Do stuff that you like, that's fun. Reading a book is always a good thing. As adults, you know, maybe we don't find enough time to read, but right now you have time, and I would encourage you as children to read whatever you can. There's a lot of things there. You've got a lot of books at home, and you can continue to read. Another thing I would encourage you to do is to help out at home. You know, sometimes just volunteering to help clean the table, do the dishes, or at least unload the dishwasher and do those kinds of things can be a big help. The other thing I would encourage you to do would be to ask your parents to show you how to do something that maybe you don't know. When I was a kid, I learned a lot about cooking and baking just from being around my mother. She loved to do those things, and she was a good teacher, and so she would show us. The other thing, and maybe this is the most important thing I'm going to say in this video, is to just kind of remember that what we're doing right now is temporary. It's not going to last forever. We're going to do this for a while because we need to be safe. We need to be away from each other so that we don't pass around this virus if one of us gets it. And so we need to be separate right now, but this isn't going to go forever. We're going to get back to normal. We're going to do things just the way we always did. We're going to have team sports, and we're going to go to church, we're going to go to school, we're going to do all those things once again. So I would encourage you to look forward to that day, but to realize it's not yet. It's not yet. We have to go through this period where we stay separate from one another, but to know that it's not going to be forever, and eventually we'll get back to normal activities. So in the meantime, it's quiet around here, and it needs to stay that way for right now. But we look forward to one day when we'll see your smiling faces right back here. Thanks, and God bless you.